pretty rapid with that. I'm just pretty switched on right from the outset, particularly with the contested ball and the way he transitioned and everything just came together really well today.
Yeah, we've had a couple of slower starts here this year, so we were really focused on the early part of the game. We knew, they pretty regularly go after someone, and we were very well prepared for that, we thought. And they going after Miki in that first little period of the game. Thought we really handled that well, and thought he had a great game himself. But he really set the terms of the game very early, which was really pleasing. We sort of were able to get a bit of ascendancy right at the start of the game.
Big contested ball and stoppage has been really good the last few weeks too. So I guess it was a focus to try and get on top there early and take it from there.
Yeah, we knew that's one of their big weapons. They've got a huge amount of talent. They've got first round picks everywhere. So we knew that if we gave them too much space, gave them a bit of a look at it, and getting it into the front half, that they'd be potent. So we knew the stoppage battle would be really important, and to win contested possession by 20 plus and to win the tackles by 15 plus, that's the sort of footy that stands up. And we were pleased we were able to be reasonably consistent through the game. A little bit disappointed maybe the last 10 minutes, but can't be perfect.
I guess with Gunston, 7 career best tally, he's nearly 300 games, so he must continue to be just absolutely surprised by the form he continues to display at this stage of his career.
I wouldn't say surprised is the word. I think I'm really wrapped for him because he has put in an enormous amount of work without reward. A lot of what he's done, particularly in the last couple of years since he came back to Hawthorn, is he's committed to other people, really try to make it. Even tonight, I think he gave away 2 inside 50s in the last part of the game when he was on 6, and everyone was very well versed that he hadn't ever kicked 7 before. They were pretty happy for him when he did finally get there. But I think he's played in a manner that is very coach-like. He knows exactly what everyone needs to do and where they need to go, and he's helping the other players all around him. And I'm really he's getting the reward from all of the selfless work that he's done over the last couple of years.
You've got a child that probably had his best AFL game today, and Reams probably similar. Still got Mitch Lewis to come. He came back today, and obviously Cowshaw as well. So got some welcome headaches up forward there as well.
Yeah, a bit of a selection squeeze, and that'll be a challenge for down the road. I won't be thinking about that tonight, that's for sure. But I think the form of those individuals comes off the back of strong and consistent system, and I was really pleased. I think Max Ramsden, he kicked 2 in a couple of minutes, and then he had a chance where he could have had another shot, but he gave it off. And I'm saying, okay, that's a team that's built from the right stuff. They value the things that really matter, not what goes on the stat sheet, but creating goals for the team. And I thought we were quite consistent in the way that we went about the game tonight, which was probably one of the more pleasing parts. Sometimes when you're having the scoreboards in your favour, it can be thinking, oh, this might be my chance, and I didn't think we had any of that tonight.
Speaking to Josh during the week, he said after the game that the players really took ownership of the last couple of weeks before that, and really spearheaded, I guess, the revival that's happened since. So can you talk us through, I guess, how much the players have really led the revival so last 2 or 3 weeks?
I think it's every coach's dream is to have player-led performances, and we've certainly had that. And I think our players have grown enormously in the space of being able to create offensive threat, but also putting real price on defence and being able to drive their own standard. I think if you think about training, very easy for the coach to bring it in and say this isn't good enough, but when players are doing it, you're closer to the right track. And I think every team goes through ebbs and flows of their players being really committed to that, and our players right now are certainly driving their own standard, and the coaches are able to take a step back and just watch what they do, and a little bit of steering the ship, but for the most part letting them do their thing, which they've done with the pomp.
Do you get the troops back next week?
Sorry, set up.
Any troops back next week?
Well, I think so. James Warple, he's had very nasty sort of corky and hasn't been able to bend his leg for a couple of weeks, so he just sort of started to turn the corner later this week. Just gone, so we would expect him to be pretty close if he's not definitely available. I think James Sicily, he looked a fair bit better in the second half of the week as well, so there's a couple there. Plus Mitch Lewis first came back, thought Kelsha playing for Box Hill looked fantastic today. There's some really good performances at Box Hill. They kicked 10 goals in the last quarter to blow that game apart as well. So there were some really good performances at that level. So selection will be a challenge, which it has to be for teams that want to compete.
Just on Charles' game as well, in particular, like some of the goals he kicked from set shots, he just looks so casual when he runs in. What's he like, sort of coach?
He's very casual. I think that the two plays stand out for me with Marbs. One is, I think we kicked 5 straight, and then we kicked 6 points in a row, and then he comes up with a reasonably difficult set shot, which was very important for us in that moment, just to get back with have the scoreboard ticking over. So he nails that one, and then the other one is the chase. So they had a player behind the ball, and it went in, and they had won that. They'd switched it, and he chased someone, 50 or 60 metres, and just got him right on the 50, and then he goes back and slots it. So I think everyone will look at the scoreboard and look at his goals that he scored, but I think we value pretty heavily the locking it in the front half, the chasing, and all the detail. I think his form over the last month has been really good.
I guess on a local level, I'm not sure a lot just yet, but just before the game, the Liberals said if they were re-elected into the Tasmanian government in the next few weeks, that they would try and get 6 games up here, including Hawks games, which would be great for Launceston. So obviously you've been pretty vocal.
Who said that?
The Premier.
Oh, good. Yeah, well, I mean, I probably shouldn't get too involved in politics, but I do feel like games for us up here is something, from a personal point of view, as the coach, I definitely want to keep playing here. We love coming down here. We feel like it's a real homely place. I brought my family down for this trip with coming on the edge of school holidays. It's perfect because the kids can come down. We can have a couple of days together. We walked to the gorge a couple of times, so I'm a bit tired actually. But being able to experience Tassie is an important part of what this club has done for a quarter of a century, and I hope that we would continue to do that. And I know everyone's very positive about this new team, but to me they're still going to be the enemy.
Without going into too much politics, what have you made of the whole stadium sort of conversation and debate down here? Do you think it's, I guess, a fair scenario that Tassie needs to build a stadium with a roof in a certain spot to get the licence?
If I'm really honest, I haven't followed it closely enough to have a strong opinion on it. I know that having been coming to Tasmania for such a long period of time, I know that they love their sport, and it's not just Aussie rules. They love sport, and I think Tasmanians in general love that. And so being able to bring the game to them, I think, is important, and being able to bring the game to you guys the way we do, always feel very proud of that and part of the community when we come here. So as far as how the team works and the politics behind that between the AFL and government and the people, that's not for me to get involved. But certainly I hope that we can continue to have a strong relationship with the Tasmanian community that I feel like we have right now. Thanks, Ross.